February 2018, Zimbabwe lost one of its strongest political voices, Morgan Tsvangirai, a good man who stood against oppression, a man who challenged authority, a man who represented hope for the millions of ordinary Zimbabweans. He became a symbol of resistance, and when he died, it felt like a nation lost a dream. February took him, and history changed forever. The man we're talking about, he was not born into power. He was not born into a wealthy family. He was not born into privilege. He was born into struggle. Yet one day, his name will shake the foundation of Zimbabwean politics. Morgan Tsvangirai, a man who rose from poverty to become the face of resistance, the symbol of democracy, and the voice of millions who felt unheard, loved by the masses, feared by the status quo, respected across Africa. This is not a political story. This is a human story.
Oh, terrible. Terrible. It was a horrible assault. Well, it was a violent.
Morgan Tsvangirai, a man who rose from poverty to become the face of resistance, the symbol of democracy, and the voice of millions who felt unheard, loved by the masses, feared by the powerful, respected across Africa. This is not just a journey. This is a human story, a story of sacrifice, betrayal, hope, and loss. This is the story of Morgan Tsvangirai. Morgan Richard Tsvangirai was born on the 10th of March in 1952 in the Buwera district, Zimbabwe. He came from a poor working class family, a background that would shape his entire worldview. As a young boy, he knew hardship, he knew hunger, he knew struggle, but he also knew discipline and responsibilities. He trained as a welder, not as a politician, not as a lawyer, not as an elite, but as a working man. It was among the workers, factories, and labor unions that Morgan Tsvangirai found his voice. In 1999, history changed. Morgan Tsvangirai founded the Movement for Democratic Change, MDC. It wasn't just a political party. It was a movement of workers, students, churches, civil society, professionals, youth, rural communities. For the first time, ZANU-PF faced a serious national crisis. Tsvangirai became the face of resistance. Elections followed, violence followed, arrests followed, intimidation followed, but support for him only grew stronger because of history from the Workers' Union, ZCTU to be specific.
Chisa mama chisa. Chisa mama chisa.
That's what you have to define your future. Apana as a generation, you shall define the future other than yourself. And the Kajiki Dokar Safana, don't know, Sakapetasi. And you watch, you watch eating. I don't want to Mutangi with Buina. I didn't Atingaroi ngoma uchamba wakatutusu.
By the early 2000s, Morgan Tsvangirai had become more than an opposition leader. To the millions, he was the people's president. His rallies were massive. His support base crossed the tribal lines. His message was simple: jobs, democracy, freedom, accountability, dignity. He represented hope in a nation drowning in economic collapse and political repression. The 2018 election and the unit government changed everything about Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe held historic elections. The nation held its breath. The results shook the country. Pressure mounted. Violence erupted. Fear returned. But eventually, a political compromise was born. The Government of National Unity, GNU. Morgan Tsvangirai became the Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, a mine worker, now sitting with the president in the State House meeting. A moment that symbolizes hope for millions. Hospitals reopened, schools functioned, economy stabilized, confidence returned. For many Zimbabwe, this was the closest thing to national healing. The Government of National Unity wasn't perfect, but it proved one thing: that Zimbabwe economy can work, especially when power was being shared. Leadership could be different, but there is one solution to Zimbabwean crisis. For instance, we witnessed the dollarization of Zimbabwe. We witnessed connectivity, increase in number of mobile phones, food surplus, etc. Too many. Zimbabwe yakatapira panguva yeGNU. That was Morgan Tsvangirai addressing Zimbabwe before the 2017 Restore Legacy process, co-signing the movement and encouraging people to join and to be part of this historical shift of Zimbabwean politics. But beyond the politics, the rallies and the speeches, there was a man battling illness. Morgan Tsvangirai had been fighting colon cancer for years, quietly, painfully, and privately.
She's the best doctor. Go have fun. I still have to go to other sessions, but I think
On 14 February 2018, Zimbabwe lost one of its most influential figures. Morgan Tsvangirai died in South Africa. The nation mourned, the streets went silent, social media flooded with tributes, millions felt personal loss, not just a political tone. Rest in peace, Morgan Tsvangirai.